Throughout cinema history, the goal has been to bring imagination to life. This has always had the massive barrier of money and time. But now we have Blender, an incredibly powerful free 3D software that allows solo creators to bring their wildest vision into existence. But Blender is not easy. To be able to use it to its fullest potential can take years. So today, we're going to explore what results I was able to achieve after 1 month, 6 months, and 1 year, as well as what experts with 20+ years of experience are creating. And if you do decide to start your 3D journey and find out what Blender is all about, I have links in the description directing you to the best tutorials for your experience level. Alright, so whenever you look at any new skill you want to acquire, you have to think about how much value that skill is going to provide you versus how much time it's going to take to learn it. So let's look at the value of learning Blender first. I got into Blender to learn product animation because I wanted to attract new clients to my business. I'd seen some of the different product animations people had made of shoes, Coke cans, and other stuff. And I said to myself, if I could do this, I would probably get way more clients because I could create custom animations for businesses in my area, and it would be a unique service that really no one else could replicate. So that was my value proposition. So since then, that was about a year and a half ago, any time I would have spent playing like video games, for instance, I spent learning Blender. And along the way, I've gotten into other forms of video creation, like the fight scene I made in this video. Alright, so now that we have the value that Blender is going to provide to us established, we can look at how long it's going to take to learn. This is a little bit harder to nail down, because when you're working with something like Blender, it's a very much creative task. So there's really no way to say, I know this program and I can do anything I want inside of it, because it really has no limitations. So instead of saying, it will take you 136 hours to learn Blender, I have some different art and stuff that I've made at 1 month, 6 months, and 1 year, as well as just we'll look at some of the different things that experts in this area are making. So for the first month, you're going to be following like a lot of tutorials and stuff like that, just familiarizing yourself with the different tools and the things that Blender can do. Your results won't be anything crazy, but they won't be bad because there are other people teaching you to make what you're doing. So here are some of my renders of the first month of learning Blender. They aren't anything crazy, but I was learning the foundations of 3D. So after finishing these basic tutorials, I said to myself, okay, you're ready to make your own original projects. So here are some of my first original projects. I made these around 4 to 6 months after learning Blender. I started to learn more about simulation and different animations and discovering that rendering takes a long time. For this coffee render, it took about 30 hours to render on a 1060 graphics card. So I spent this time learning all the different features and tools and stuff that I didn't know, and learning how to model stuff and do things I had never really explored before. Alright, 6 months later, it is 1 year since I started learning Blender. By this point, I had been able to get a 3090, which is super fast. It has insane render times, but also something you wouldn't think as much is important, but it's actually the bigger thing is viewport performance. I was able to load larger scenes and create better renders with this more powerful graphics card. So I made a few different renders between 6 months and a year until I finally decided at about the 1 year mark that I needed to make a showreel to get new clients and be able to demonstrate what I could create. I spent way more time on this project than any of the ones I had made before, but I think it turned out alright. Alright, that's what I was able to achieve after 1 full year of working with Blender. Some days I obviously spent more time than others, and some days I didn't work on Blender at all, but I would say I averaged probably about 2 hours every single day working in Blender and learning all the different features to get to the point where I'm at. So to answer the question of the video, is Blender worth learning? For me, it's obviously yes. I've had a lot of fun making unique different things and bringing to life pretty much anything I can imagine inside of Blender. But if the value just isn't there for you and you're not willing to spend the time it takes to learn Blender, that's perfectly okay, and the obvious and clear answer for you is going to be no, it's not worth learning. But even if that's the case, you don't need to be bummed out, you can still create things through filmmaking. So if you want to see me make an ad using both a camera and lights and microphones and all the fancy equipment I have, and make one completely CGI to see which one's better, you can watch this video over here. Thank you for watching.